Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Walker, and I wanted to meet with you today to talk to you about the work packets that you're picking up from campuses this week. This is going to be an introduction to what those packets are going to be looking like, what you're going to find in them, and how you can use the information inside of them to help you complete your work. I also wanted to give you a few tips on where you can go for resources. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to let you know is that the learning packets are going to be called Learning Activity Bundles, or they're called labs for short, as you see here in this slide. So from this point on, whenever I'm talking about looking into your lab packet or working on your labs, I'm talking about the work packets, the learning activity bundles that you'll be picking up every couple of weeks at school. So let me go ahead and show you what some of those papers are going to be looking like. So the first thing that I wanted to show you inside of your learning packets is going to be all the papers that you're going to find inside of them. Here are the things that you're going to be finding. You're going to be finding our lesson plans, and they are going to be in two different papers. The first week is going to be the first paper, front and back. We'll talk more about that. The second one is going to be your second piece of paper, which also takes up the front and the back side. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. You're also going to have a brand new workbook that you haven't seen before. It's called Kids Learn. This is a workbook that the district has purchased for every single one of you. It's usually designed for kids when they're going to be starting third grade. So when they finish second grade and they're getting ready for third grade, this is a workbook that would help them review what they've learned in second grade of all the skills they're going to use in their third grade year. So you're going to see that a lot of these things are review. You might even say that it's easy. But what I'm going to say is that these are the skills you absolutely must have mastered before you start fourth grade next year. So these are things that I absolutely want you to be doing. But I know that they're going to be easy, and I know that it's not everything that we have practiced. So I have some other things that I also added into your packet. In addition to your Kids Learn packet, you will also have a brand new Studies Week, or not Studies Weekly, Benchmark Unit Reader. And we'll be talking about that. This is one that you have not seen before. It's called Spending Time and Money. I also have a brand new Studies Weekly newspaper. This is going to be week 26, which you see right here. And we're going to be mainly focusing on the giant article on the inside, which is going to be called California Heroes. So this article right in here is the one that we're going to be focusing on. So it has 3 people listed on this side and 3 more people that are important to California listed on this side. This is the article that you will be using for your first week's worth of work. If you still have the Forces and Interactions benchmark reader that was in your very first packet, you will also need one article out of here. If you do not have that anymore, you will need to contact me and I will get a printed copy mailed out to you as soon as I can. In addition to the workbooks that you will be having, you're also going to have some added worksheets. There is a math packet. There is a sheet that goes over how you edit your work once you've written something to make sure you check for all of the mistakes. And you will also have some different worksheets for science. We're going to start a brand new unit on forces, how we push things, how we pull things. I have made some resources here that we are going to be using. You'll also be using that in your first couple of weeks. And Mrs. Avila has also included something for music if you want to be doing things for music. This one is not in my weekly lesson plan, so it could be something that you could use when you're bored or if you want something extra to do, but this is also in your packet. So how do you use all of these materials? Well, let me show you. So this is what your lesson page is going to look like. You will see that up along the top, it says our grade level and it says days 1 through 5. Now I know that you're not getting this packet until Tuesday around lunchtime. And so you're probably not going to get to work on it until after lunch. I don't expect you for this entire week to get 5 days done. That's why I don't have the words Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think that I'm just going to go days and number the days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this first week, I would like you to get the first 4 days done so that when we start next week, we'll start on day 5 and then we'll continue on. Your goal this week is to get days 1 through 4 accomplished. So let me show you what that looks like. You will see right here that our first one on the line here is going to be reading. And reading is what we're going to be using our benchmark reader for. So if you see down here in the screen, when I'm holding up your benchmark reader, this is what you're going to be using for your reading section. You also might be using some pages from the Kids Learn book. In every single box, we will either say if the page comes from Kids Learn or if the page comes from Spending Time and Money. That's how you know which book we're talking about. So in Benchmark Reader, you're going to be looking, the first story that you're going to be looking at is a story called The Ants and the Grasshopper. Now we say that it's on page 5. It's actually going to be part of a 2-page spread, but you're only going to be paying attention to the story that's called The Ants and the Grasshopper. You're also on that same day going to be doing page 28 out of this book. So make sure you pay attention which book with which page number. Now, the one thing that I'd like you to keep in mind is that on day 2, and I'm going to highlight this right here, where it says read the story, The Milkmaid on page 30, that is a mistake. I would like you right now to cross out the number 30, and instead I want you to write the number 10. The Milkmaid is still in your benchmark reader. That part is correct, but it is on page 10. That was a mistake when we put page 30. So you're looking for page 10 for the story called The Milkmaid. That's one thing that I wanted to bring out and mention to you there. Then on days 3 and 4, you're going to be focusing on the same story. You will notice right here, and on day 4, the story is the same. Let It Grow, the booming business of farmers markets. And we told you that that is on pages 6 and 7. You're going to be using this story for 2 days. You will notice that we told you on day 3 which paragraphs to read, and on day 4 which paragraphs to read. You're not going to read the whole thing, or at least annotate the whole thing all in one day. We broke it up for you because you have other things to do. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm not going to talk about day 5, although you will see here, we've usually left day 5 as a catch-up day. We usually don't put new things in day 5. Let's move down and look at writing. In writing, on the first day, you're going to have a couple pages to do in your Kids Learn workbook. It's going to be some easy review. When do you use capital letters? What are digraphs? We've talked about that in your walk to intervention. You will find that page very easy. Parents, I also want you to know that in the very back of this workbook, you will have answer keys to everything. So you can check to see if your kids are doing these pages correct or not. Now, on day 2, for the rest of the week, you're going to have a writing topic and you're going to be writing a paragraph. The prompt is going to come from page 30 on the Kids Learn. So you're going to want to turn to page 30 and see what the writing topic is going to be about. You're going to write about that. Now, you might need more room than what the Kids Learn workbook gave you, so give yourself room. Use some scratch paper if you need to, and you will also want to use the editing checklist, which will go through everything you should be looking for when you get to the editing checklist part on day 4. If you move down to math, you will see that math has all of our lessons here. It will tell you if the workbook or if the page is in the Kids Learn book or if it is coming from our math packet. The only page you are doing from the math packet for this first week is the very first page. Everything else is coming out of the Kids Learn workbook. A lot of these are going to seem very easy to you, but if you are having any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Now I want you to flip your paper over to the back side where it says social studies. You will see a lot of gray boxes here. That's because you're not going to do social studies for the entire week or science for the entire week. You're only going to do 2 days of each. So for social studies, you'll take out your studies weekly reader. You will open up to that big article in the middle, and you will see how you are to read that. You're going to read it a couple times. So make sure that you follow the directions carefully. And we're actually going to continue reading this more into your second week. So you won't even finish all of the things with this article in the first week. Don't worry if you're like, when are we going to finish it? You're going to finish it the next week. Parents, I wanted to tell you that in the directions, it talks about an I notice, I wonder T chart. If you want to know what that looks like, it's something simple like this. If you want to look down at my bottom camera, you're just making a big giant T down the middle of your paper. And on one side, you'll label that with I noticed. And on the other side, you will label it with I wonder. And the students will make some observations on the notice side and write down a few questions on the wonder side. That is what this chart is all about. And it's very simple for kids to make. Then I want you to look at the science section. Now, this is going to be a really fun one. And for this first week, we got to get started and just kind of learn some new vocabulary that we're going to be studying. So to do that, there are two places that you can look to. Number one, we have listed a Brain Pop video that you can look at. So if you go to your Clever account and go to Brain Pop Junior, you want to search for pushes and pulls and watch that video. It will help you a lot. The other thing that will help you, if you still have your benchmark reader from the first packet that we sent out, Forces and Interactions, you're going to want to read the article on pages 6 to 8, What Makes Things Move. And there's going to be some key words in there that I want you to focus on that I have listed here on this page. And so then you can follow those directions. The last thing on your lesson plan is PE. If you want to follow these exact directions, you can. But if you have something else that you want to do, I'm fine with you guys just going outside and playing. You do not have to follow PE exactly, because sometimes you might want to do something else. I just want to see that you're outside moving and doing some movement every single day. So those are the things that are in your lesson packet. So for this last chunk, I wanted to show you where you can get help when you are doing your work at home. And there are a couple places that you can go for help before you might need to reach out to me in case I'm not available at the moment. You should be watching this video through my YouTube channel, but if you've just reached it by clicking the link that I sent you, you are going to want to submit or subscribe to my channel. That way you can get notifications when I upload new ones. This is the place where I will be uploading all of my weekly announcements for you guys to see what is to come or what to expect for the week to do. If you search Gina Walker in YouTube, you should be looking for this picture right here. That will tell you that you have found my page. If you are having problems finding that, maybe add to the search, not just Gina Walker, but maybe adding Pleasant in there, and that should kind of narrow it down and help you find just my channel. I've also added some read alouds for a chapter book that we started right before we stopped meeting in the classroom. The kids can catch that there as well. But the other channel that I think you really should subscribe to if you have not already is Mr. LaBelle, one of our third grade teachers, has made a channel for all of the third grade teachers at Pleasant to share videos on how you might need to reteach or rethink about things that we were doing in the classroom before we stopped meeting there. So in math, if they have forgotten how to add or subtract or multiply or divide, if they have forgotten what they need to do to make sure they're following along as they're reading to be accurate, or if you are looking for resources, how to ask questions when they are reading the book. There are videos of all those kind and more on the channel that Mr. LaBelle has started. So if you search Joshua LaBelle, which you will see here in yellow on the screen, you are looking for this picture of the teddy bear scratching his head. And if you have found that, then you have found Mr. LaBelle's channel. Subscribe to that one as well, because there's lots of helpful videos that your child or you can use to help you if as things come up or where you're getting stuck. So what do you do with all this work once you are finished working with it? Well, as much as I would actually like to collect it, because I do want to know what all of you are doing, at this time they're not letting me do that or make it easy for me to collect your work. So every Friday at 3 p.m., I've been having Zoom meetings with the students. It's a video web conferencing meeting where we get together on the screen and talk about what's been happening in the week. What those are going to start becoming is a place for kids to share one thing that they've done each week. But you can also take pictures of their work and have them show that on Seesaw. You can take pictures and send it to me through text on Remind, or you can even email it to me. My email address is gwalker@tcsdk8.org. And those are all ways that I would like to see at least one assignment from every student every week. Have them pick maybe their best work or something they really struggle with that they maybe overcame or are still struggling with and want me to help. That might be new videos that I will put on my personal channel, or things that I will talk about in my next weekly announcement video. So I hope to hear from all of you soon to see how you're